Hola, ¿cómo estamos, Vegas? Welcome to Chris Garcia, the Conservative American, and I have a very, very interesting show today, a very special show today with Amanda E. She is here to tell you about Essure. It is supposed to be a birth control method, but it turns out it has been disastrous for a lot of women here in this country. Amanda, you want to tell us what's going on?
Yes. Essure is a permanent non-surgical female sterilization procedure developed by Census, a company that Bayer kind of picked up after. The Essure procedure is a coil designed with fibers. It's supposed to go inside the fallopian tube and cause inflammation to close them up. There is an issue with this. One, there are 14,900 adverse events reported to the FDA with this procedure. On average, we have about 100 surgeries per month due to Essure problems. I am, unfortunately, a person who suffered side effects from Essure. Luckily, I stood strong with my doctors and refused to go with, well, this could be your problem, let's put you on these pills, which has been a case for most of these women. Baskets of pills, diagnosis, tests, I mean, it goes on for years. These women have no clue. Main issue is no one's being informed that there are side effects with Essure. And it's gotten pretty bad. I mean, I go on and, I mean, there's pictures of females who are in severe pain and I mean, this lady right here had more than 2 coils in her body. One migrated up towards her lung. There are pieces breaking apart in women. And there's an issue with that because there aren't tests that can locate the little fragments that break off and they migrate. They don't stay in one spot.
Show them the pictures you were showing me of women that look like they're pregnant, their bellies are swelling up because it's the baby.
We have a term for it. We call it e-bellies. And what it is, it's women who are getting bloated by this. It's amazing. They look pregnant and they're not. And, you know, they get rashes. It's sad. It truly is sad. You know, I suffered in pain for over 1.5 years, not knowing that my body's reacting to the nickel that's in this. You know, there's a lot of controversy about nickel being in makeup, how it's not okay. Women react to that. It's not, it's not good. Well, why is it in this device that's inside women? No one's thinking, okay, well, if it reacts to the outside, what happens when you put it on the inside? I was hemorrhaging inside, and no one knew. I did x-rays, CAT scans, was told I had MS. I was told I had Huntington's disease. The last thing they wanted to do was a biopsy on my brain. Yeah. And, I go home and I'm completely devastated. I'm like, what is going on? Am I going crazy? And every female, if you go under Essure problems on Facebook, 34,000 women are on there talking about these problems that they've suffered, feeling like they're going crazy, that, hair falling out. I mean, my son, 10 years old, had to help me take care of my 3 other children because I couldn't get up to feed them. I couldn't get out of bed. I was in so much pain, and I went 1 year not knowing what was wrong. And I put in my side effects, all of them, and the doctors are like, we don't know. All your test results come back and you're fine. I'm like, there's something wrong. They're like, no, you're going crazy. And I'm like, no, not. No, there's something wrong.
How did you finally figure it out?
I put all my symptoms, my hair falling out, my teeth cracking and breaking, tingling, numbness, fatigue, metal taste in my mouth. I put all the symptoms into the search engine on Google. And the thing that popped up was side effects for Essure. And I pulled up this page and it listed every single side effect. I mean, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. I just had to search it up online, and thinking about it, I get upset. But there are 32,500 women in this group. They talk about serious pains, including and not limited to pain, abnormal and heavy bleeding, fatigue, joint pains, headache, hair loss, perforation, depression, migration of the coils, allergic reactions, autoimmune disease, pregnancies. There are women who have suffered miscarriages. One of them, Ariel Grace, is a little girl who started the Ariel Grace's Law, attempted to step up and allow people to get the knowledge from their doctors ahead of time. Because I wasn't told that, hey, this is what's in it. This is what it contains, and, this is certain side effects that might happen.
How did you hear about Essure to even go get the device put in you?
You know what? Angie Permerlino, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. She was one of the first ladies that started Essure Problems. She listed her problems online. And,
how did you hear about getting the device at first?
I went into my doctor, my OB. I had my last child, and my body fights off the birth control, whether it's the pill or the shot. Found out the hard way, 3 kids later. So with having the state insurance, I was only able to get one of 2 options. The pill or the shot, which obviously didn't work, or Essure. And I asked, what about, cutting my tubes or something like that? And they're like, no, they're saying Essure is the easiest, cheapest way of getting sterilized. You're in and out. And I'm like, oh, I'm in and out? And they're like, yeah, there's no downtime. You go in and we put it in you while you're awake, and you can go home. Well, that's great,
Yeah. How long after that did you start having effects?
I noticed it was about, I'd say a couple months later, I noticed I was really tired, like just drained, and I couldn't understand why. I was like, okay, maybe it's my diet. I'll change my diet up. I'll start exercising a little bit. I had, years ago, an addiction to pills, so I have learned to kind of change eating habits and introduce certain fruits and veggies to kind of fix whatever issues, I might have. Well, that's what I attempted to do, and it wasn't working, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's just me. I'll just ignore it. So I ignored it, and then I started noticing tingling and numbness in my hand. It would come and it'd go away, and I'm like, okay, well, that's a little weird. And I was like, I'll just keep an eye on it, and it'd come and go, and then all of a sudden it was my whole arm. Tingling numbness pain, like stabbing needles. So I go to the emergency room, and they're like, oh, you have a rotator cuff injury. So what you need to do is you need to take these pills. And I was like, no, I don't do pills. They're like, okay, well, we suggest you go to pain management physical therapy. Okay, well, that doesn't seem right. That's what I said. It doesn't seem right. I'm just going to go get a doctor.
Yeah.
So I went to one doctor, and they suggested that I have certain tests done. And they're like, we think you might have MS. That was the first one that they popped up with. And I'm like, MS? They're like, well, it would explain the tingling and the numbness.
Oh, that's serious.
Right?
I tell you got MS. Wow.
That's exactly what I said. And I'm like, wait a minute. No, I want tests done.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we can do these tests. And the test came back, and they're like, well, it's not MS. Well, let's see. Maybe it's Huntington's. We'll think it's that. Well, let's try some tests for that. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting tired of you guessing. So I went to a different doctor. And they're like, well, we're going to send you to a neurologist. It could be carpal tunnel. It could be Parkinson's disease. We're going to have some tests done with the neurologist to find out. So I go through that. Neurologist. Well, I'm in some serious pain at this time. Full body tingling, numbness. The pain got so bad that I'd start stuttering. Like, I couldn't control my body. It was like shaking like real bad. It was horrible. So I asked the doctors, I'm like, listen, I have a pill addiction. I don't want to relapse. Is there anything else I can take to help with this pain? And they're like, yes, you can take these 3 antidepressants. Fibromyalgia patients use it just to help with the pain. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And I went through all of that. Test came back. No carpal tunnel. Nothing showing any type of Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, nothing. So they're like, well, we're going to send you back, and they're going to do a biopsy. And I'm like, what do you mean a biopsy? They're like, well, we're going to go in, and we're going to just take a tiny little sample of your brain. And I'm like, Wait, what? wait, how did we get to this? And here's my mom, 3 states away, crying because she's thinking that her daughter's dying in Colorado while she's in Nevada. What is she doing here, you know? So I go home, have a nervous breakdown, and looked up all my side effects, and that's how I got to Essure Problems. Yeah.
Just gonna take a time sample of your brain.
Yeah, we'll just take a little sample of it. Like, I need that, don't I? Is there anything else you could do? And I've had CAT scans, MRIs, x-rays, everything you could possibly think of. Blood work every week. I had blood work done every single week. They didn't know what was wrong. All they knew was my body was fighting something. That's it. And I'm like, well, fighting what? Like, what is going on? Having bad migraines. I'm throwing up. I feel like I'm, losing my mind.
Did it amaze you when you found out how many other women was going through the same thing?
After I had my hysterectomy, I went onto Facebook and I came across Essure Problems. And I said, Essure Problems? I looked at my husband. I'm like, babe, there's a Facebook group. Essure Problems. How is that even possible? And he's like, well, try to look it up. And sure enough, yeah, coils migrating through organs.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I had to have 3 major organs taken out of my body for 2 coils that are 9 centimeters long. That's it. For 2 coils that are 9 centimeters long, I had to have my uterus, my fallopian tubes, and my cervix taken out.
Oh.
It did so much damage on my organs that my doctor just, he couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. Yeah. And miscarriages, I mean, there are 29 original Essure clinical trial patients in the Essure Problems group. There was the original trial that happened, which they only did about 6 months worth of study before they released it. 29 of those women are in our group complaining of problems. One of the ladies who was the main face of Essure Problems, the Essure coils, is in our group complaining of having serious issues. And there's women like me that didn't come across a group like this and go, oh, well, this might be a connection. I didn't find this group until after I had my hysterectomy. There are women, today, 4 women going in and having hysterectomies to reverse the issues that they're having. Every day it's constant. Women are coming on and going, I thought I was alone. I thought I was going crazy. Marriages are falling apart because husbands are going, what is going on with my wife? She's losing it. She's losing it. That's what my husband thought for a long time. He was just like, you're sitting there saying there's something wrong with you, but the doctors are saying that you're perfectly fine.
I can imagine, yeah.
Women going through, and one of my main things that bothered me was I was having issues pooping, and that wasn't an issue with me ever in my life. I got hemorrhoids from it. Like, how? Wait a minute, what? Hemorrhoids? And I was talking to my doctor about it, and he's like, well, there's an issue. You need to change your diet. And I'm like, that's an issue because I don't have the energy to eat. I don't have the energy to get up and make myself food. Can't take my kids to the bus stop. And he's like, well, we don't know what's going on, but you need to come in. And, thankfully I had an OB who actually sat down and listened to me, and he's just like, we're going to take a look and we're going to see what's going on. He did just an outside look and automatically was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to sign you up for hysterectomy because you are completely inflamed inside. He's like, there's something going on. So, yeah, it's...
What does the federal government say about it?
The FDA is running their little tests. They want to have, I think, 3 years of studies on it. They did put a black box warning on it, which the doctors are supposed to go through and read off.
So
they're still performing it, yes. But see, that's not the only issue. Okay, when you come across doctors that don't know how to remove it, we have doctors that aren't being informed how to implant it properly in the first place. There are women there's a female that has 6 coils in her. 6 coils. Why is there 6 coils in a female? Like, did they mess up? Well, what is going on? Someone's not teaching these doctors the right things to do. And then the doctors that go in and are trying to remove it, they'll cut the coils, thinking, we'll just cut the fallopian tubes and pull it out. And then these women are still having side effects, and they don't know what's going on. Well, they get pictures of their coils, and it's cut up and broken into tiny little pieces. And that's what's causing our issues in the first place, is those coils, those little fibers that are in there. So if you're cutting it and it's spreading throughout the body, how hard is it to track down tiny little fragments? It's nearly impossible.
I'm sorry, but I can just imagine how painful that is.
I consider myself one of the lucky ones.
Was it debilitating for a while?
Oh, it was bad. My husband had to carry me sometimes to the bathroom. I couldn't stand up in the shower long enough to bathe myself because I was just so weak. My body was so just tired of fighting whatever it was fighting. And I couldn't sleep at night. My husband would feel my arms, and my body's just shaking like this from the pain. It's horrible.
And I had to be, listen, I mean, I always brag about keeping things real. That had to be tough on him, though, as well.
You know what? The husbands, the children's, the mothers, the fathers, it's not just the Essure patients.
Yes.
It really travels.
Because you probably were a different person during that time. You probably you weren't the same person.
I wasn't the same. I felt like my brain had an issue kind of connecting to my body. It felt like my body was just doing its own thing.
Well, he has to be a good man. He stayed through it, huh?
He stuck by my side the whole time. And I'm grateful because I had no family where I was at.
How angry was he when he found out what it was?
He's still angry.
Yeah.
He's still angry because, we were told that it was just simple. It's simple because he's the one that works. I stay at home, take care of the kids. So him going in and getting snipped.
That's a tough
My mother had 8 of us. So
I have one boy and 3 girls, and I get along better with the boy because I'm a tomboy. I grew up tomboy.
So is my wife.
So having 3 girls that are like, oh, my hair, and oh, dirty, and I'm like, no, you need to go play. No, I was blessed to have him in my life.
No, I know it affected him. I get mad at my wife. My wife is a tomboy. She works on cars. She does all that stuff. And when she hurts herself, I always say, stop hurting my wife. I get mad because she hurts herself. So I know he had to. Wow.
Yeah. And we've kind of backed each other up since we've been together, and the fact that he couldn't help me. There was nothing he could do. He had to go to work every day, and he worked, 6 to 6 normal hours, but he was there.
That had to affect him.
It was bad.
As far as him working and being away from you, he had to be worried, sick all the time.
Yeah, and it took a toll on his job, and they kind of looked at him like, well, the doctors are saying there's nothing wrong with your wife. Why are you telling us there's something wrong with your wife?
Yeah.
Wow. But, and to find out that it was coils, and that I'm going through menopause right now. I'm 32 years old, and I'm going through menopause. That's not right. I shouldn't have to deal with that. I mean, granted, I didn't want to have more kids, but I didn't want to have organs removed either. I didn't want to have to be pushed into menopause where I'm having hot flashes at night. And,
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's
32.
32 years old.
And my wife just finished menopause. She's 46. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Tell me about the rally. Tell me about the
Oh,
rally.
yes. We are holding a rally here at UNLV behind the Student Union Center on May 6th. Believe it or not, there are 20 rallies going on that day. We have quite a few. We have 2 in California. One that's going to be held at the convention center where all the doctors meet up to talk about it.
Did UNLV involved with the rally?
No, they gave me permission to have my rally there.
I graduated, so I wanted to know what
they were the first place to jump up and say, you can have it here.
Good UNLV.
I appreciate the help. They went above and beyond helping me with that. And, I explained to them what I wanted to do. I wanted to let people know that there are issues with Essure, and there's a lot of people that don't know. And if they know someone that's having these issues, they can connect it. Okay, well, if you have Essure, then you might want to check this out. So we're going to set up a booth. We're going to have our information out. We're going to have the pictures of all the ladies that have gone through all the serious issues that I've gone through, including the husbands. Can't forget about the husbands. But yes, all these women that have had to go through everything that we've gone through. Constant E free, all these women. And then there's the husbands. Says, Bayer, meet your other problem. Men of Essure, give us back our wives.
Exactly, makes Essure.
They don't make it. Actually, they bought Essure from another company, Census, I believe is what it's called. What's funny is if you go under Bayer, and they have all their products that they back or that they make, Essure is not listed on there. Germany, where Essure is from, Bayer is from, they don't sell Essure. They don't produce it out there. They don't give it away. Brazil actually banned it, believe it or not. Brazil
banned something.
Brazil has
They
banned
don't
it.
ban anything, so if they ban something, it's bad.
Yeah,
It's bad.
they got together and they're just like, there's a problem. So they have banned. And we're happy about that. We're trying to make awareness of this. We want this off the market. Basically, is what our goal is, because what is it doing? It's not doing anything but causing issues for many, many, many people.
So how do people sign up? Do they sign up for the rally, or can they just show up?
Just show
exactly
up.
Where it's at.
It is right behind the Student Union Center at UNLV. If you walk behind the building, you will see me right there to the right on the grass. I will have a big banner up. Feel free to come up. I will be there at 10 o'clock in the morning till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, trying to just educate people. It's not just Essure. There is a problem with the mesh that's going on. You just need to know that you have a choice. You are able to stand up and say something doesn't sound right. Get a second opinion. Never, ever, ever go with what your doctor says. Gut feeling, always. Something's wrong, something's wrong. Get an answer.
Are there any lawsuits against Essure? Have you guys tell me about
There's quite a few lawsuits going on. We have a bunch of lawsuits combined together in California right now. We're happy because a lot of the lawsuits were trying to get thrown out because of the statute of limitations. With FDA pushing Essure through the market like they did, you have 2 years to come up and say, I have a problem with Essure, and get an attorney and file a lawsuit. 2 years. Now, mind you, I didn't know for 1.5 years that Essure was causing this problem. So by the time females find out, it's already too late.
Right.
But we're trying to fight that. We actually have some great attorneys right now that's going in and saying this shouldn't be an issue. There's a problem right now.
Are they doing any pro bono, or are they charging?
No, a lot of them are doing pro bono.
Excellent.
You can go on to Facebook Problems, and we have lists of attorneys, and we have lists of doctors that are actually experienced in removal. You don't want to just go to any OB because, unfortunately, a lot of them don't even know how to take it out.
Now, you're here in Las Vegas. How many states filed lawsuits? Do you know how many women, how many states?
I don't know about how many women. I know that there are 7 states that have jumped on board.
Excellent.
I have an attorney, when I started it in Colorado. They're actually from Texas, and they're taking it to California. They're one of the main law firms that's actually going up against Bayer.
Good.
So, this is the time to stand up,
That's right.
and fight for your rights, We need to do the patients over profit. We can't just sit back and be like, okay, go ahead and put whatever you want in me after 6 months of testing it. Go ahead. I'm sorry, but our bodies are more important than that.
Amanda, I want you to tell the women out there that haven't had Essure or thinking about having it, or have had it and haven't had symptoms yet. Tell them about the warning signs or the symptoms that they might experience,
Oh.
and what to do when they're not going crazy. Let
Yeah.
them know that.
I mean, there's some small symptoms. There's the fatigue. There's the metal taste in your mouth, hair falling out. There's the tingling, numbness, tremors. I mean, I have a shirt that lists all of it: migraines, allergic reaction, nausea, dizziness, vertigo, multiple surgeries, high blood pressure, PTSD, neurological issues, anxiety, dental problems, which we just found out. We just connected that. Yeah, and you know what? I went to a dentist quite a few times, and I'm like noticing that my teeth are breaking apart, and I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, you just need to take better care of your mouth. And I'm like, no, my teeth are coming out in chunks. Like, what's going on? It's horrible. I vision problems. I had an issue. I couldn't drive for a long time because I noticed that my vision would start getting all blurry, kind of coming together. Oh, God. Yeah. I mean, there's 14,900 adverse events.
Wow.
14,900 adverse events.
Unbelievable.
Now, that's a lot if you really think about it. Now, normally you think, okay, side effects. There's normal 3-4 side effects when you're taking something. That's fine. When women are having 7 to 10, 15 different side effects, something's wrong. Let's see. I have a bunch of little notes on here. It says outside the OBGYN community, most doctors, radiologists, pathologists do not know don't know anything about Essure. Don't know what it's made out of, how to remove it. Even with imaging, problems with the device, such as perforations, are often missed until surgery is performed. Which makes sense because I've heard a lot of females posting on Facebook, they don't know where my coils are. The HSG test is a test that they do after 3 months. After the 3rd month of having it done, they should dye up in you to make sure it's placed correctly. And that should be accurate, you'd think. But when women are at that time showing issues, it's moving, women are pulling out Tampax and it's wrapped around their Tampax. Yeah, it's bad.
And we got about 2 minutes left. Just tell the people how you're doing right now.
You know what? I feel amazing. Looking back a year and a half ago, I couldn't even believe that I would be here right now. I literally thought I was dying inside, just falling apart, and I'm up, out and about, running around, driving, perfectly fine. I have no issues at all. You wouldn't believe it. If my husband was here, he'd be like totally different.
It's totally out of your system.
It's completely out. Yes. I had a full hysterectomy the end of June, right after my 31st birthday. Full hysterectomy, got up and about a week later. And I broke down crying because I couldn't believe it. I was like, babe, I'm up. And he's like, what do you mean you're up? I'm like, I'm up. I'm in the kitchen right now doing dishes, babe. And he started crying too.
Are you still having any side effects whatsoever?
I'm still having issues with my hair falling out. It's not as bad as it was before, but that is the only issue I'm having. No tingling, no numbness, no fatigue, no metal taste in my mouth, nothing.
And you say Bayer doesn't make them. Did you ever find out who makes them? Or?
Yeah, it's developed by this company, and I'm not sure how to pronounce the name.
It is. Is that Conceptus?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, Conceptus Incorporated.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
They are the ones that came up with the product. Bayer came in and bought it.
I want to wrap up the show today. I want to say to all the pharmaceutical companies out there, Conceptus, Bayer, whoever has anything to do with Essure, you need to pull it right now until you find out what's going on. These are our mothers, these are our daughters, our sisters. They're not experiments. And you don't know, and you did not know, and you knew this, what this device did. It was not properly tested. There were things on it that, like she said, you wouldn't use in makeup on the outside of a woman's body. Why would you put this inside of a woman's body? This is disgusting. This is a person right here. Amanda's a person. She's a mom. She's a wife. This is ridiculous. She's not an experiment. She shouldn't have to go through the things that she had to go through. None of these women. Look at this. You guys did this. This is ridiculous. She is not an experiment. These are our people. These are our citizens. If you don't know what this does, you wouldn't do this to an animal. If you don't know what it does, why would you put this in thousands of women all over our country, probably all over the world? Let me tell you something. Brazil has some of the weakest laws as far as pharmaceuticals, as far as plastic surgery. They banned it. Why in the world are we doing this in the United States of America? I'm so glad, Amanda, that you came on to my show today. I'm so glad that she's doing well, and I want to send a shout out to her husband for standing by her. It's tough. I give my wife hell when she has a toothache because I'm so used to her being a rock. I'm so used to the wife and the mother being a rock and cooking the dinner and making sure everything is right. And I also want to send a shout out to you for being a mom and staying home and taking care of your children. It is the hardest job in the entire world. And I would rather work construction, I'd rather do anything than sit at home with a bunch of kids. I'm telling you that right now.
The second hardest job is taking care of a husband.
Send a shout out to my wife for that, because she got a difficult husband to take care of. Thank you so much for watching today. Any lawyers that want to jump on this and do some pro bono work, this is the kind of work that you want to do. Get in contact. Amanda, is there a number or anything about the rally?
You can go on to Facebook under Essure Problems. We actually have, you just type in there under the search engine, Essure Rallies, and it will pop up. There's also a website, www.essureproblems.webs.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Essure Problems.
Wow.
Yeah, we go
Excellent.
out. We are everywhere.
Excellent.
We ain't going nowhere.
You're not alone. You're not the only person
No.
who's going through this. Do not be afraid. You're not going crazy. This is legitimate. If you've had this device put in you, now you know you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Get in contact with them so that you can take the proper, because you don't know what this can do if you leave this up in you.
Yeah.
You know, take the proper precautions. Thanks, Amanda, for being on. My beautiful wife, Cian Garcia, who is the executive producer here. My sister, Kaylee Garcia, who's the head of social media. I want to stay on top of this. I want to have you back, if that's okay.
Yeah.
We're going to do a few more segments on this because I want to get to the bottom of this, and I want some lawyers to step up in Las Vegas and all over the country. You know, this is what it's all about. These are our people. And
Believe it or not, Erin Brockovich is one of the main ladies heading.
Oh, you don't want to mess with her.
Erin
You got big
Brockovich.
time on your side now. I know about Erin Brock. She's a tough lady. They don't want to mess with her. Thank you so much for watching. Google us again. We will be up on YouTube in a few hours. We're going to make sure we get this show up. We're going to make sure we get this show up. Watch it, subscribe, push the bell button, subscribe to Chris Garcia, the Conservative American. You know when I'm on Monday through Friday, 1 to 1:30 on RadioTribune.com and 97.9. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Amanda, for being on. God bless America. God bless our troops. And Godspeed to our President Donald Trump.